Greetings. I'm MHines, and I'm doing an analysis of student data for CRCT exams information, particularly for the reading, math, and science for the Alfred Elementary School. The overarching theme for analyzing students' data is twofold. One is a presentation of the progression of students' learning in search of ways for improvement, and the other to identify and improve upon instances of achievement gaps. The data that I'm presenting provides information pertaining to CRCT outcomes and learning proficiencies for all third, fourth, and fifth grade students. The analysis of this data is expected to identify trends which can provide areas of focus for the future, specifically in reading, math, and science, provide a comparison of schools' data and that of district and state, assess the effects of programs and projects implemented to improve instruction and learning. 2012, 2013. And as I said previously, it's for reading proficiencies for the third, fourth, and fifth grade students. Here you'll see that the data is sort of cylindrical. Um, it's it's not really showing any trending information as it relates to maybe some types of trends going up or down. It's sort of cylindrical. There seems to be some overarching information as it relates to data switching from those students who actually exceeds and those who meet. We see there's not much change relative to the um, needs improvement. Most of the information, as I said recently, goes in between the exceeds and meets. We see that there is sort of a bump between or significant difference between third graders in 2012 and those of our fifth graders in 2012. Being there is a significant improvement shown over time if we are looking at reading scores for the 2012 time period from um, or looking at or observing our third grade students compared to our fifth grade students. Here we have our reading proficiency continue. Well, one of the reasons primarily why I chose to include reading proficiency is because I personally feel that if a student is eligible or able to read and comprehend, um, the sky's the limit. Uh, Research indicates that a child's reading ability directly impacts a child's overall well-being and academic success. So, um, as you can see here, students with disabilities have showed growth from 2012 to 2013, with an increase of 7.4 percentage points. Um, Also, as you can see, there's increases in the multiracial group. Those are those multiracial students as it relates to success. We see that um, our 2012 to 2013 is shown in gray. So if we go down the list to look at those who have improved in 2013 or have shown improvement, we'll notice that our students with disabilities have had significant increases. Our multiracial students, our Black or African American students have all shown increases as it relates to the levels of proficiencies or shown proficiencies in reading. And those who have um, decreased in proficiencies in reading are our economically disadvantaged students. However, the significance here is very small, so I would say that it's about equal, um, showing an increase from 2010 to 2011, 12, so 2000 from 2010 2011 to 2011, 2012, there was an increase. And would say that the difference between 2011, 2012, um, and 2012, 2013 is about equal. There is, however, a significant decrease with um, English um, learners, English language learners, as well as a decrease with our white students, a slight decrease with our Hispanic students, a sort of constant decline with our Asian Pacific Islander students. And here you see all students and the progress of all students. Percent wise, we see an increase from the 2010-2011 academic year to the 2011-2012. However, a slight decrease again in 2012-2013. Here we notice our math proficiency, which actually, except for our fourth graders in 2012, seems to trend, well, also, I'm sorry, and our third graders in 2013, um, seems to have improved significantly, more so than not reading data. So we notice here as it relates to comparison from fifth graders from our reading to our fifth graders for our math. We notice again that most of move of the movement, um, except in the two cases that I noted earlier from 2013 for our third graders. And then again, we see as it relates to those who did not meet in 2012 for our fourth graders, both in 2013 for our third graders and 2012 for our fourth graders, shows that 10 more greater than 10% of the students did not meet or does not meet. And we see that in other areas, most of the movement is between those who fluctuate from our exceeds in gray to our meets in our brown. Again, looking at our math proficiency as it relates to different economic or socioeconomic statuses or multiracial statuses, we notice that if we look at those who have shown increases in proficiency, we see an increase with our students with disabilities. For decreases, we notice that our economically disadvantaged students are showing decreases. Our English language learners, our multiracial students. Although it's interesting, we see a big dip between 2010-11 and 2011 and 12, and then it sort of trends back up again. We see definite peak and valleys as it relates to our multiracial students in mathematics. We see a significant decrease with our white students from the 2011-12 to 2012-13 school year. We're noticing a steady decline in our Hispanic students as it relates to math proficiency. And as it relates to our Asian Pacific Islander students, we notice that there's sort of also sort of some cylindrical data that's sort of have peaks and valleys as well, but not as steep as we noticed with our multiracial students. And here we notice that with all students, we are seeing a decline in proficiency. Although it's still, for the most part, the number of students that we have that are showing proficiency in math, which means that they either meet or exceed, are in the 90-ish percentile for all students at the school. Um, as I stated here below, it is understood that math skills are essential for success in the world of technology. So therefore, it is believed that proficient mathematical skills will be acquired by doing more than just drills and practice. Here we see the data related to science proficiency. Um, the story here is a little different from reading and math. We notice that our students who does not meet is higher and trends higher than those in our meets and our exceeds category. So we notice for our third graders in 2011, 12, and 13, we see that it's also cylindrical, whereas it trends up and then we'll see it trending back down again. Um, Not extremely significant, however significant. Um, Also, we notice that those who have exceeded in previous years will also see the same trending up. So those who have exceeded went from 2011 from 36% up to 43%, and then back down again, almost half that to 28.2%. Um, Also, in with our fourth graders, we also see a trend with 2012 um, being our valley. So we go from almost 50% of students exceeding in science down to 42 or 43%, back up again to its highest point in 2013 with our fourth grade students of 52.1%. And for our fifth graders, we notice also the same type of activity where we trend up and we have 49.3% of our students who had exceeded in science proficiency. And then that decreased again in 2013, going from 39.3, losing more than 10 percentage points to 38.1. And we see here again a sort of cylindrical sort of wave in the data. We peaked up high, almost 25% in 2011, down below 20% in 2012, and back up again to almost 21% in 2013. Now I'd like to show a comparison from the elementary school to that of the district and state over the previous 3 years. We notice for all students, we notice here as relates to proficiency in reading, um, we look at our school's data and we notice that we are trending upwards. Um, from 2012 to 2013, there was a sharp increase on the number of students that met proficiency in reading, matching that of the district, which is what has been trending highest from 2011 up to 2013. And we see that the state is sort of trending in the 90s, however, still trending as of 2013 below both the district and the school's ability. So in 2011 and 2012, it was seen by the administrators of the school that um, they saw a decrease in performance and worked on strategies to improve reading achievement for all students, as well as to focus um, on those students with additional support who needed it. And so you can see that the efforts shows here. In math proficiency, we see that once we have a sort of a difference as it relates to the trends. Our schools data is best amongst the district, which is shown here in brown, and the state, which is shown in gray. We notice that our school, although there is a slight decrease. However, you do show that the district is improving in math proficiency, and there seems to be some cylindrical data as it relates to the state's performance in math proficiency. But very proud of the strides that are made with mathematics at the school, as you can see as shown here in comparison to how the district and the state is performing. Last, we see the comparison of students' science proficiency, which compared to, as we stated earlier, reading and math, our science proficiency, those students who are proficient in science tend to trend lower percentage-wise than that of those in reading and math. So we notice here that the district is doing pretty well, um, averaging over the last 3 years about 85% um, of proficiency, 85, 86% as it relates to um, science proficiency. And our school is sort of trailing behind that significantly, with the state being the worst case scenario, which is trending much below the district and the state, and much below the district and the school. Um, you would imagine that some focuses across the state would probably need to be incorporated in order to get those science proficiency scores up. And we also, it's been noted the need to implement science type problems with mathematics. We notice that students are doing well in mathematics and trying to uh, incorporate some science based problems and questions that's related to mathematics. As it relates to our fifth grade students, we noticed that it's been pretty consistent. So this would have been our fourth graders in the previous year, 2013. Right? And we take a look at them now. So in 2014, these individuals would have been in fourth grade in 2013. So we take a look at um, the differences here. Um, we see that those fourth graders was about at the in 2013, right below the 95% mark. And we see here in 2014, our fifth graders are about at the same or maybe a little higher. But we notice that over time, um, it's been pretty steady as it relates to proficiency from 2011 to 2014 as it relates to reading, math, and science and observing these trend lines. So as a way forward, as displayed in the previous slide, we can use the data to assess the success or lack thereof with the measures implemented to improve students' ability and to eradicate the achievement gap. Change and improvement generally isn't immediate. However, if we monitor the data and provide measures for continuous improvement, success for our students can be realized. Thank you very much for your time and attention for this presentation.